welcome back. I have such fun things to show you, like how I made this delicious beef stroganoff. Of course, as you know, I always have to start out with my Mad Dog chef knife. This is a brand of knives that I've literally been using my whole life. Some of you may know why, but if you don't, my father is the owner of the company, and so I happen to have an in. However, that does not mean that these are not the best knives that I've ever used. Just ask the Navy SEALs. These things can literally cut through a car. Thank God I don't have to do that, just a cow. So I cut these into small strips and then I poured some flour into a bowl and I'm just going to dredge them in the flour and then shake them off really well before putting them into my beautiful Dutch oven with a little bit of olive oil at the bottom, and I'm going to just brown the meat. I'm not going to overcrowd my pan, so I want to do this in batches because I want to get a nice golden crust on each of these pieces. After a while I got frustrated and just started stirring it around, but still doing it in batches. In between each batch, I am going to deglaze the bottom of my Dutch oven with a little bit of red wine. That red wine will just be poured into the bowl with the rest of the meat. And I'm just going to lather, rinse, repeat on that whole process until all of the meat is done. Meanwhile, I'm going to cut an onion. And y'all know when I cut onions, I like to burn a candle. I don't know why I don't just light the candle before I start cutting, but it just, habit, I guess. So I'm going to cut this first down the middle, and then I'm going to cut several slits in the sides because I want these to be into tiny little squares. And I'm going to keep the butt of the onion, oh my gosh, the butt of the onion on. I guess I'm going to be the butt of the joke this time. We're going to keep the butt of that onion on because it's going to keep us from crying. Alright, once we have all of the meat done and we have completely deglazed, we'll just wipe the bottom of that pan out, but do not clean it. Add a little extra virgin olive oil and those onions in. Give those a stir and help them brown a little bit. We're going to cook these on a really low heat. Once they start to get browned, you can add just a little bit of garlic. I like to use fresh garlic, but you can use pre-minced garlic. And then we're going to add a little bit of either chicken broth or vegetable broth or beef broth. And that is going to help those kind of caramelize and get even sweeter. I'm going to chop up a tomato really well and add that in there as well. Give that a mix and let that simmer in a little bit of chicken broth, beef broth, or vegetable broth. We'll recombine our meat with that red wine, give it another stir, and then I add Worcestershire sauce. Sure, I can say that just fine. Add some more vegetable broth until you have almost like a soup, and then I added a little bit of paprika, a little bit of coriander, and some bay leaves. Salt and pepper, as always. And now it's time to go out to my garden. We're gonna pick some fresh oregano. We have to get parsley, sage, and thyme. I left the rosemary out this time. We'll just dunk those in. And we're just gonna cover, turn it on to a very low heat and let that simmer for several hours. And then we're gonna look around at the mess we made. Okay, we're back. It's been about 4 hours and now it's time to add our mushrooms. I always pull the butt out of the mushrooms, or the stem, I guess you can call it, and then I slice them up really well after I wash them. If you don't wash your mushrooms, I don't know what you're doing. They literally have dirt on them. This should have a little bit of a skin on it. That's perfectly fine. We're just going to mix that to recombine it. You can see that it is a little bit thick from the flour that we already have in there, but after we put our mushrooms in and of course give it a taste, toddler approved. All right, now it's time to thicken. We'll turn the heat up a little bit, distract the toddler while I get some cornstarch. I added some heavy cream, or you could do sour cream. This is just how I do it. We'll mix that up really well, and then he is going to slowly pour that in while I mix to combine. This will thicken that sauce right up. Oh yes, that is looking fabulous. I served that over noodles, and I added some nutmeg to the top of mine and a little bit of fresh parsley. If you like this recipe, please let me know. Any questions, give us a comment. See you next time.